Welcome to part 4 in Pico 8 Snake, and this time we will be handling milestone 3. I actually want to add a few bits here. So we have a score counter. I want to show a start screen when booting up and a game over screen after I collide with the edge or the head of the snake collides with the body of the snake. So let's have a look at how we can set this up. This is the draw function that is called by Pico 8. In the draw function, we are rendering the state of the game. This is okay when the game is ongoing, but we don't want to show this at all when the game hasn't started yet or when the game is over. So what I want to do is put this logic into a function that I will call when the game is in progress. But I can then call a different function when we haven't started the game yet or when the game is over, for example. So I can do something like, let me think about how I should set this up. So I went to the init function and I created a variable drawFn, draw function. This will be available globally, but I put it in the init function to basically give it a good home. And this is a table, and this has a key of in progress, which is also a function, and this has the logic that we had in the draw function before. So if I save this, go to draw, and say drawFn dot in progress, which should be a reference to that function that is defined here, and then call it. Then this should work like it did before. And indeed it does. So that's great. And I will do the same for the update function because, again, the same story. We are handling the logic for the game that's in progress, but we might want to have different logic for when the game is over or when the game hasn't started yet. So I will do the same thing for the update function. So I added the table. Now I will just copy and paste all this stuff into this function, and I will call it here, and it should behave exactly the same in the same manner as it did before. Okay, so far so good, and I will actually make one more change. I will draw function, update function. I would just call this draw state and call this update state. And I will create another variable called draw function, and that is going to be equal to draw state dot in progress. And same here, update. And now I don't have to go into the table anymore. I can just do update function and draw function. Also need to change these into draw state, update state. And now it should work as it did before. Perfect. So the reason that we are doing this is to be able to switch to the game logic from some different kind of logic. So next, let's look at creating a start menu, for example. Alrighty, so the first order of business is to actually go to globals and create a function to change between the different states. So if I look at my main, then draw function is the function that's being called, and it's getting assigned something from draw state. So I want to be able to change between the states quickly. So I will create a function called change the state, which takes in a new state, which will be a string. And if I just assign the draw function and the update function to something from, how can I select both these? Sorry. To something from draw state and update state called new state. So this will be, for example, I will have update state in progress, and then if I collide, I will call change the state end game, where end game doesn't exist yet, but then this will make my draw function point to the draw to the end game draw function, and my update function to the end game update function. So that's a bit of like a utility or added utility. And now let's design let's create a menu screen. Let's put it here so that it is like it comes before the in progress screen. Let's call it start menu. And this is also a function. And in my start menu function, I want to clear the screen with a color with black, so 0. And I want to print some sprites to the screen. So I went ahead and used Pico 8's in editor sprite creator, and I created these sprites. So now I will draw them to the screen by using the sprite function. And as you can see, this draws a sprite on the screen, takes in the sprite number and the X and the Y. So sprite number 1 will correspond to this S that I have, and I will draw it at, so the sprite function takes a sprite number, an X and a Y. Y, I haven't created these variables yet, and it draws the sprite to the screen. So now I will create X, let's say 0, and local Y is 0 as well. And let's see what happens. Oh, and I also need to set this to draw state, start menu. I will also set this to draw state or update state start menu, which does not exist yet, but I will quickly copy it from here and modify it to not do anything for the moment. So if I run this cart, I should have a black screen with an S somewhere. And we have that. So that's great. Now let's draw the rest of the letters. So I'll duplicate these lines, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I know that the sprite is 8 pixels wide, so I will increase this X by 10 to give it a bit of spacing as well. And this will be 20, 30, and this will be 40. So now I should have snake, and I do. Perfect. And I don't want to start at the top. I will make it so 128 divided by 2 plus 4, which is half of the plus. Okay, I'll just do 8 divided by 2 to indicate that it is half of the sprite height. So now it should be roughly in the center. And I think it actually looks quite nice drawn on the left. Divided by 2. How about times 0.75? Maybe even better. Yes, I'm going to say that's even better. And now I want to print to the screen. Press X to start game. And this will be X. And and y plus 10. Nice, nice, looks good. And I forgot that Pico 8 doesn't actually have like capitals or lowercase letters. There's no difference, but I'll just keep it like this. And now, if I'm in the game, I can't actually do anything because this is the update function that's being called, and this doesn't do anything. So I need to check for the button press on X, and the X key on a keyboard corresponds to Pico 8 button number 5. So if I press the X key, then I want to change state to, this will take in progress, and I actually made a mistake here. Typo, so this should be in progress. So now if I reload the cart, if I press X, then it should show me the game. And it does. So that's great. Now we can do the same for the game over screen. So we can create a function called game over. And this goes both in the update state and the draw state. And in the draw state, I want to clear screen with a value of 0, make everything black. And I just want to print press X to restart. And I'm looking, I want to reuse these. So I'll just create them again. Local X is 0 and local Y is, let's say 1, 2, 5 divided by 2 plus 8 divided by 2. But actually I want to try and put it in the center of the screen. So to do that, I know that the screen is 128 pixels wide, and this is the center of it. And I also want to shift it to the left by half of the length of whatever I want to print. So, and to get half, I'll lowercase it to indicate that it's local. Local half is the message divided by 2, or the length of the message divided by 2. And the way to get the length of the message is to have first put it in a variable so that I can reuse it later as well. And this will be press X to restart. And I can do octothorpe MSG, so this will give me the length of this string. So this should be press, this is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 18. So there will be 9, so this should be something like 1, so 64 minus 9, 5. And yeah, X will be X, and Y will be Y. And this, I can take this from the variable, and looks good. Let me see. Game over. Okay, game over. Update function doesn't do anything. That's fine for now. But we need to switch to the game over state as well at some point. And I have this check here. So if snake.did collide with self, then change state to game over. And I want to return as well because I don't want to do these things anymore. So now if I reload the cart, I should start at the start screen. Then if I press X, I should go into the game. And then if I go against the wall, I should see this message here roughly in the center of the screen. I should also say that this is 7, so white. Because I think that otherwise it would take the color from here, or maybe the last color that it used to print, which may not be white. So, okay, now to collide. Okay, that is way off. Quick debug session. I don't have. Okay, so let me test just this theory. Test string. Okay, it does not get that. Oh, I need to print this. Test string test strong 11. Okay, what if I floor it or floor it? Floor this as well. Okay, I have realized my mistake. I am counting in pixels, but the letters are actually maybe like 4 pixels wide. Yeah, 4 pixels wide. So what I want to do is it's half times 4. Let me see. What do we get now? Okay, much better. I'm happy with that. So now let's do the game over update function, and this should be quite similar to what we had above, but yeah, and changed it to in progress. Should be exactly the same actually. Perfect. So let's try. Collide, press X. Okay. So I think I tried this before, and I think what is happening is that the snake is not being reset. It is still out to collide with itself. So I need to create a reset function for the snake. And I first need to create a starting position property on the snake. This will be a table. It has a key of X, which is 20, and Y of 20. And now I can use snake.starting position .x and .y. And when I reset the snake, I'll actually put it at the top because I need to reference these variables, reference with my eyes, not with code. Reset equals function itself. So it takes in the snake, not JavaScript, and what do I need to do? I need to say that the snake.direction is right. I need to say that the snake body is an empty object, and I need to say that the snake body.one is this thing. So I think that is enough, and I need to also reset this. Now this is looking like a function called snake.create. I'll skip it for now. But basically what I mean is that I'm actually doing this here, so I could technically reuse this code, but I'm fine for now. And now whenever we go back to this this state or in game over, I also want to reset the snake. So I should have a snake, and I should have a set self self. Okay, try again. X to start, collide, X to restart. The direction didn't quite work. I guess the potential new direction will need to be set as well. And indeed. So now we have menus and we have different game states. Everything is working fine. And yeah, that should be these two objectives done. Now let's take on the last of the objectives. For full disclosure, it's been quite a while since I recorded the last part of the video, and one thing has changed. Namely, I lost the sprites that I had created for the snake title for some reason, so I had to recreate those so they might look slightly different, but otherwise we should be right where we left off. Okay, so now we want to implement a score counter. The score counter should go up every time we pick up the fruit. To save the score, we need to have a variable, and we also need to display the score. And we want to show it while the game is going on, so we want to put it in our draw state and in progress. So once we clear the screen, we want to draw another rectangle on in the top part of the screen. So the starting x, starting y will be 0, and the lower right corner will be x is 128 because that's the width of the screen, and y will be something like, let's say, 12. And since I need to know how far down this black rectangle will reach, I'm going to give it, I'm going to put it into a variable. It's going to be top offset y. And where did I put the 12? Here. Right. So now I have this thing, and now I can print, give it a bit of a margin from the edge of the screen, and okay, so the text goes first. I'll set the 7 as my color of white, and the text will be press, it will be score, and these 2 dots is the concat function. It's like adding a string on top of another string. So this will be score. So currently this will be score, colon, space, and then the value of 0 that I set here at the top. So let's see if this works. And it does work. And it's not black as I imagined, but actually I quite enjoy this color. Well, I'll set it to black, so for 0. Okay, so it looks good. Now, obviously, the problem is that I can move the snake here, and it doesn't consider this to be an edge of the screen. Let me take care of that. I'll copy this variable because I'll be reusing it, and I'll go to snake, and where we have the collides with edge, then the head position y doesn't have to be less than 0 anymore, but it has to be less than the top offset of y. So let me try this now. Okay, and now if I go up, and then it breaks. I did see that it was 12, so maybe if I make this 11, maybe it lines up a bit better. Yeah, now it fits under here neatly, and now if I press up, and I'm done. Cool, and now we get to draw the score, and I want to increment the score as well, so whenever we collide with the fruit spawn, and score plus equals 1. So the score should now go up every time we collide with the apple, and it did. And that's great. And now I guess I can display the score in the game over screen as well. So if I go to the game over draw state, draw, game over, press X to restart, print message. And I can print something else like your score was 4, and the x will be, I need to create a variable called score message. This will be this score message. And now let's do the, okay, it needs to be uppercase because it's a global variable. And now I need to do something like I'm doing for half here, which is floor score message divided by 2. 128. 208 divided by 2 minus score message divided by 2 times 4. Times 4. Okay, I think this is it. Pardon me, my cat jumped on the table. This should be it. And now I can put in dy, which will just be y plus a bit more, like plus 6, to be a bit below what I'm already drawing on the screen. So let's see. Let's see what we get. Score is 1. Your score was 1. Excellent. I will do not maybe 6, but let's say rather 12. And yeah, looks good. Looks good. And does this matter if I change this to lowercase? It looks a bit small. Okay, it looks nice. Better now. Actually, this here as well. Okay. So we have the score, and also it's happening in a bordered area below the score. So that's it. These are all of our challenges for the game of Snake. I hope you enjoyed it. I certainly learned a lot, mainly in terms of patience with myself. And next up, I'm going to be exploring Phaser.js, and just want to be a bit more, just want to feel myself a bit more at home. I like JavaScript a bit more than Lua, so I'll see what I can do with that. Thanks.